What is going on, you guys, and welcome back to the channel. The big elephant in the room is that I have not uploaded a video in the longest I've ever not uploaded a video here on YouTube. But hopefully today's video is going to be well worth it and will kind of jumpstart the channel back into the swing of things as we head into the summer wheeling camping months and this time of year. Another caveat that I did want to apologize for in advance that you will notice is that I happened to be sick and under the weather when we did this video, my brother and I. So apologies for the congested voice. It's been about a week now since I've installed the CBI T3 Baja front bumper, full steel, of course, and we had a lot of fun doing it. Took us quite a long time here in the driveway at home, but that is kind of the way things work around here. I'm always looking to do a DIY, and I had a small day time frame to do the install. So we went ahead and did it, but you will hear that I'm a little bit under the weather, so I apologize for that in advance. Additionally, I will ask you all to leave a comment down below. This was one of the first videos where I didn't do the entire video by myself handheld, and my brother actually was kind enough to film and help with a lot of the install. I noticed while editing the video that caused the kind of aspect and the way it's filmed and presented to be a little bit different than what maybe a lot of you are used to. So leave a comment down below. Let me know if you like the style where I have either my brother, my wife, or a friend of mine helping out with the install, or if you prefer just handheld, me doing my thing here in the driveway. As I mentioned, this is the CBI T3 Baja series front bumper. Some of you who have already commented on Instagram have mentioned that it's kind of like the OG, the original, and that's kind of the theme of my build. All the products are kind of first generation. I haven't really done anything to kind of fix or upgrade something that's been on the truck. I've always been one to add or do some maintenance. I'm not going to replace a certain part just because there's a new product on the market. So it's very fitting that it goes, that I went back to kind of the roots and went with the old CBI T3 Baja series front bumper. I got it in steel. I ordered it during Black Friday last year. It took quite a long time to get here. It only arrived about a month ago. But I'm happy that it's finally on the truck. And once we get through the full install, stick around to the end. I'll show you what it looks like mounted on the truck with all the lights from Extreme LED and the winch that we mounted in there, and give you kind of my thoughts of how the truck drives and kind of future plans for this summer when we kind of get out and to do some more adventures with this CBI T3 Baja series front bumper. Can't say that enough. All right, let's get into the video. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do, I don't even think I need to really explain this, but we're gonna be removing the front grille here, which is gonna be two 10mm bolts, and then these little plastic tabs here. You can see, you've probably seen these a million times. Mine will probably come out with my hands, maybe not. But anyway, we're gonna undo these, and then this should just come right out. One other thing that I've mentioned many times before, if you have a 2018, 19, you're gonna have the adaptive cruise sensor. So we're gonna have to detach that here. Just use a pair of needle nose pliers, and you probably can't see from that side, but you just kind of wiggle this clip here and it'll come on out. Just like that, comes right off. I'm gonna actually store this in the back to keep it secure. All right, next we're gonna remove these retaining clips
They're just kind of running along, whoop, don't lose those, running along the front of the bumper here. There should be, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 total that run along the front. And then once I get these all out, I'm going to be doing the same thing we did with the radar sensor to these, and just making sure that we can remove this bumper fully. So once we do all those, got those bumper clips off, the next thing you're going to want to do is locate your fender. Now for me personally, I'm missing about 2 bolts that look similar to this one. So this is another 10. We're going to remove that, and all you're going to have to do is work your way down the fender here, removing I think 2 or 3 other bolts, and then I'm going to resume the same thing on this bolt right here, and we're going to remove about 4 to 6 others along the front of the bumper. And once we've done that, we should be able to gently pull this thing off. So it's come to my attention that if you are running a TRD or similar skid plate, we are going to have to drop the skid. It's not too bad, especially if the truck is lifted. You don't need a jack or anything, so it's just going to be, what is this? About 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 15 mils. I'm going to loosen them up here with a breaker bar and then use a drill socket after that. Wasn't expecting to run into this, but might be a good opportunity to just check out the skid plate, check out the inside. Maybe if there's any leaking oil, we'll find it in there as well. But yeah, we're making progress. All right, so this might not apply to everyone, but I had these Rhino USA D-rings with the Demon brackets, and we need to remove this plate right here. So this is just a 17 mil. This is probably not going to apply to everyone, probably apply to very few people actually, but it's super easy. Once you get that done, you'll be able to pull out that little metal piece there. The other thing that we just did was we removed those Demon brackets, the little D-rings. We haven't done it on this side yet, but we did it on the other side. Super easy. I think it was like a 17 mil, something like that. And then I also went ahead and disconnected my fog lights because I think we've gotten all the bolts from the bottom, all those 10 mils, all the clips are undone. So we're gonna start to see if we can't jiggle this whole bumper off, and then hopefully we don't break anything. So typically you would have like a bunch of clips running up your fender here, but since I have my fender cut, I only have about 1 clip here, and then there's a big like bracket that holds the full bumper in place. And to take that off, all you gotta do is pull off gently and then like slide it forward. So I'm gonna try to break this side loose, and then Sebastian, who's behind the camera, is gonna help me get the other side off, and hopefully we don't damage anything on the way down. But yeah, just be really careful. We may break some clips. It's just kind of natural with the process, but they're fairly cheap and inexpensive to fix. So let's get to it. All right, as you can see, we got the whole bumper off here. Did take a little bit of work. Just really be careful when you're messing with these clips, because these are, from what I've heard, expensive, and we just really had to jiggle it out. This one actually popped out while we were removing it, but I was able to clip it back in right through this clip right there. Can you guys see that? Yep, right there. But yeah, we're slowly moving along. How long have we been out here? 47 minutes. We'll see how long it takes us to get through the whole install. So now that the OEM bumper is off, we have these 6 14mm bolts that hold on this crash bar assembly. I've seen people remove this little, I guess this is adds for protection on the regular bumper, but what we're gonna do is just remove the whole thing as one piece. Hopefully it slides off pretty easily, and then we'll kind of go from there. But the impact does not fit behind here, so I just have to do this the old-fashioned way. This is gonna take a while. So the next thing I'm going ahead and doing is putting these bumper caps on. A lot of people will cut the actual factory bumper. I had these pre-ordered and sitting around at home for a long time, and they're gonna make this so much easier. You can already see I've already kind of preset one of them right there. I just gotta make sure that the tabs are clicked in. And then all the cutting we're really gonna need to do is right along that bottom fender there. But yeah, this is a product from our Running for Tacos. A lot of people use them. It's really hard to get the painted ones though, so if you want them, kind of go to set notifications to let me know when they're available. Like I said, I've been having these sitting around for quite some time now, but I'm happy to have them. So we're gonna go ahead and get those installed, and then we'll get to the trimming portion. Now that we got the bumper caps installed, we've gone ahead and moved the stock bumper out of the way, and I'm just prepping my cutting line here. I'm actually cutting it a little bit. I'm gonna cut it a little lower. I might move this down a little bit, but I want to be as precise as possible, so I just have to, I can only cut it once. So let's see how we land. But yeah, get some good painter's tape. You guys should be in good shape. So the next thing we got to do here is we got to relocate this power steering cooler. We got to push it back about two inches. The CBI, the bumper that we're putting on, provides us with brackets for that. The one caveat is there's one small bolt that I see no one ever talk about. I don't think you're able to get it in here. There's a small bolt right here that we're gonna have to undo that will help relieve the pressure on the system. So you could actually push this back without undoing this bolt, but then there's gonna be a kink in the line at some point, and then there's gonna be additional wear and tear. You don't want any of that. So I'm gonna undo this here, sneak behind the liner, and hopefully just get this out here pretty quickly. So you can see here what I mean. That's the bolt I removed, and when I move this back and forth, you can actually see that. So if you don't remove that bolt back there, you're going to create tension on the whole system. So remove that bolt first, and then what we're doing here is I've already removed these, and now I'm just going to be placing in the spacer brackets here. All right, I'm just gonna go ahead and cut. I'm gonna give myself a little bit of room. It's the first time I've ever cut into the bumper before, or into the fender liner rather, so let's see what we got. Got black stuff on my face. A little bit, yeah. You don't need to do anymore. So I'm just using a regular file. Everything kind of came off pretty easy, as you can see. Super easy to take off. It's actually a little bit thicker than I thought. Luckily, we were able to get it off with this little cutter wheel. But right now, I'm just kind of deburring the edges here, trying to get it as clean as possible so that when we throw the bumper on, it looks nice and nice and clean. But for the most part, I think we got everything exactly the way we wanted it. Like I said at the very beginning, if you had a full bumper that wasn't cut like the one I had, you would have to cut out your fender liner. You can actually see in here, I previously cut the liner, but what I'm actually doing is I remove this clip here, and I'm just gonna cut a line across right here so that this is like up and out of the way for the most part, because on the other side it's completely out of the way. So we're gonna do that now. So another thing we gotta do is you can either hammer these back or cut them back. I'm gonna try my best to see what I can do with this. If not, we're gonna have to hammer it back with a hammer. But once we're done with that, I'm gonna cut this final fender, and then I think we'll be in a good spot to mount the whole bumper. Dude, that sound was gnarly. We went ahead and trimmed back these pieces here and hit it with some Steel-It or Rust-Oleum. I think I would use Rust-Oleum just to make sure that the paint doesn't corrode. And then for the install, if you have anything other than the CBI skid plate, they do recommend removing it. But what Sebastian and I are gonna do is I'm gonna loosen these front bolts. I've already loosened a lot of the other ones, and just kind of see if I can let it bend and hang a little bit. That way we won't have to fully remove it, because I've been saying it this whole day, these things are not light, they're heavy, and it's annoying, and then you end up with a kink in your neck. But other than that, bumper caps look good, fender trim looks good, power steering reservoir has been moved back, everything else looks in good shape. So I'm gonna undo this, and then we'll go ahead and get the bumper out here. All right, as you can see, we got the whole bumper down here. I already have pre-assembled, you'll see in a little bit, I got my 20-inch Extreme LED XS6 light bar in here, and our 10K synthetic rope winch. I went ahead and kind of installed those in the office over the last week or so to make this a little bit easier. Now all we gotta do is put these brackets on the stock fog lights, and those will fit right in there. And then once we're done with that, we'll be able to lift this bumper right up onto the front of the Tacoma here, and we'll get a first glimpse of what it looks like.
Easier said than done.
Easier said than done. This thing is 100% steel. Took 3 of us to carry it down the stairs from the apartment. So I always say that steel is the best kind of armor. You know, doesn't bend. So it's a little bit heavier, but I think in the long run I'll be happy I went this route. So our solution for trying to get the bumper on without the skid plate did not work. So I'm gonna get under here and remove the factory skid plate. And hopefully it doesn't take too much time at all. All right, as you just saw, we got the bumper pretty much in. The winch control box did get a little scuffed up. Might have to bend this bracket here or do something so it kind of gets out of the way. But we were able to line those bolts up. Where are they? Right there. Get it hand tight. And so next thing we're gonna do is drop in the spacers in here so that we can adjust the height of the bumper. Although I will say it's actually pretty perfect. I might just drop one spacer in there, and then the last part is just going to be kind of getting everything wired back up and get that skid plate back on, and we'll be in business. But it's coming together. Can't really tell, but I think it's going to look really good once everything's on there. All right, so what we're doing here, everything's kind of hand tight. Now we're using these 2 bolts here to line it up. Once we do that, we'll be able to put the stock skid plate back on, kind of get everything else tightened up, and then just focus on wiring exclusively. But I'm trying to see what makes the most sense. I had 2 spacers on that side. You would think that it would be the same on both sides, but we'll have to see once I get this all pushed up here. It looks good. All right, now that we got the whole bumper lined up the way we want, I went ahead and removed this bracket here because, as you can see, I kind of jacked up my winch control box a little bit and wanted to give it a little bit more breathing room. So I just removed that. It's just 6 10 mils and it's all good to go. I'll probably do another little bit of kind of bolt tightening and cleaning up of the wires here like I do in a lot of my videos. I went ahead and put the skid plate back on, torque to spec, and then I'm gonna, yeah, like I said, just kind of clean everything up as best I can. I'm trying to put this up back together in a way where I won't have to come back and deal with it again anytime soon. Kind of bummed about this control box, not gonna lie, but you know, at the end of the day, you know, everything, it's an old truck. It's like 6 years old, so let's get it all back together. Get the wire, the light bar wired in as well by Extreme LED. Looking good. All right, I've been at this for like 5 hours now. My brother took off about an hour ago. It's all been, like I said, cleaning up little small things. I think it looks super good. Winch works, light bar works. I think I might have gotten some mismatched hardware from CBI, so I'm gonna make sure that this fog light is situated properly before I wrap everything up. But for the most part, I mean, it looks unreal. I can't wait to see how it drives. Everything's torqued down to 30 foot-pounds on this side. And then I just did my best to kind of clean things up in here. Wiring harness still needs to be taken care of, but stick around to the end to see the final result. But we're pretty much done here. I'm just gonna be cleaning up a few other odds and ends.
There you have it, you guys. So that was the full install of the, again, CBI T3 Baja Series front bumper in full steel. Now, a lot of people are probably going to ask why I went full steel. Initially, way back when, I told myself I was going to do aluminum skids and steel front and back. CBI makes a T3 steel rear bumper, which will probably happen at some point in the next year or so. Who knows? But I wanted to keep the points of kind of impact as strong as possible. And if you've been watching the channel for any amount of time, you know that I've already previously upgraded the front and rear springs to both the Icon 700-pound springs and the RXT leaf pack with the heavy duty setting. So the truck rides really nice now. It didn't ride particularly poorly before, but now it's like feels much more cush, kind of gives you that Cadillac-esque feel. Overall, the install took me, just with hand tools and some cutting tools, as you saw, door to door, it took me almost 6 hours. So kudos and props to all those shops out there who do these installs professionally and in probably half the time. But I really wanted to take my time, make sure that all the cuts and all the mounting points were torqued to spec, cuts were nice. It's totally doable. I don't have a garage or anything like that, so we just set up here in the parking lot outside of my house and we got it done. And I'm super excited that this is now part of the build. It really kind of puts the cherry on top when it comes to what I would see as like version 3 of the Tacoma build. This is a 2019, I got it in 2018, and it's been a long time coming. I've been wanting one of these bumpers for years and years and years, and we finally made it happen. So if you enjoyed the video, give this video a like, get subscribed, leave a comment down below. Always happy to engage with you all, and like I said, I'm hoping that this video kind of jumpstarts things back into making more regular videos here in 2025. So until next time, enjoy the ride.